G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, going to repot this weird little Melaleuca. Don't stress, it's not in that god-awful ugly pot that I put on the thumbnail. I do have a little bit better pot for it. I think it's a little bit nicer pot, a little bit more suited to the tree, but we'll get to that soon. It's been in this pot for around a year. We are midsummer, so it's probably not ideal time to repot, but we've got humid, stormy weather for the next week again. Always seems to be that sort of weather when I want to do my trees. It's hot as buggery. So yeah, the tree will be fine. I will throw it in my bench with all the other stuff where it'll be shaded, not out in the full sun, just for a couple of weeks until it starts to bounce back. Once I repot it, I'll do a little bit of styling work, won't do too much. I'll just give it a little bit of a trim back, and we might wire some branches. We wired some for probably only a month ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And the wire stayed on for 3 weeks and I had to pull it off. It was starting to bite in. That's just the sort of growth we get from these trees at this time of year. I'm starting to really like how this tree's looking, so time to get it into a better pot. So to start with, we'll get it out of this one. Clean up the roots a little bit. Yeah, and just work out exactly what we want to do with it, whether we want to reorient it at all. I think it's probably where it needs to be. I don't think it really needs to move all that much. Be interesting to see how much root growth there's been in 12 months since we put it in this pot. The tree itself's been growing very, very well, so I would hope that the roots are doing the same. Look at that. Yep, looks like she's been growing pretty well. Well, look at that. This wasn't a fully inorganic mix. I probably had a fair bit of potting mix in it, this one I'd say. Just at a guess from what I was doing 12 months ago. Yeah, it looks like there's a fair bit of organic matter in this one. It's not a full potting mix, so there is a lot of inorganic stuff, which has probably helped it grow a lot of these fine roots. But anyway, we'll get in and take some of this soil off, and then we'll bring the new pot out. Righto. That's the roots pretty much taken care of. The main trunk does go back quite a way in here. We could probably clean some of these roots off and even elevate it out of the pot just a touch more maybe, if we so wanted to. Not real sure how far back I want to dig into that main trunk. We could even leave those roots on, still lift the soil level, or lift the tree out of the soil level. Well, there's not too much on this side, it's more on the other side where you've got roots up here. Put the soil level here somewhere perhaps. And leave those roots down in the soil. I wonder if that would eventually, over time, thicken up to give us a nice wide nabari on it. I don't want to change the orientation of the tree too much, but something like that might be okay. Give it a little bit of height up out of the pot as well. So I won't cut those roots off, but I may just try and angle them out as we pot the tree and hope that they will thicken up. That might be okay, I reckon. All of these fine roots were all growing in the bottom of the pot where the water tends to sit. They love water, these things. Probably don't need to do a lot to that, I don't think. Right, we might grab the pot and have a look. I know there's some people watching that have probably seen this pot before, because I know a few of you hang out on the Australian bonsai pot auction page. I seem to have been picking up a couple of pots from there lately, which is good. So this pot came up the other day. Guy by the name of Peter Bacos, I think is how you pronounce his name. Sorry, Peter, if it's not. Just a cool little semi-cascade pot. Got these cool chop marks in it. I don't know, I just thought that that pot would probably suit this tree quite well. And if we lift it up, probably still lay it over that bit. Pretty much same orientation it was, but lift it up a bit. Yeah, I think that'll look pretty cool. I'll just chuck some tie-in wires in the pot, as we probably will have to tie this tree down. I've had a look at the pot. I don't think there's any particular side that is going to suit better than another. Maybe put the front of the tree on the lighter side of the pot, maybe. Somewhere around there, I reckon. Might just trim up some of these roots a little bit. We don't want to take too many of these fine feeder ones if I can help it. Maybe just some of these thicker ones. And I don't want to really take any of these forward ones. We're going to hope that they're going to thicken up and give us a good nabari over time. That's the plan anyway. Something like that, I reckon. But we'll just go around and just make sure that this mix is all the way down as much as we can get it. And next time I pot it up, I will get into these roots more. I think there's a fair bit of still organic potting mix jammed in here. And the one thing that having an inorganic mix allows you to do when you repot is remove that soil from the roots without damaging the roots. When you've got real dense organic mix, it's very hard to get it off the roots without damaging the roots, without taking it out and just washing the whole root ball clean. Yeah, it just makes the task a bit easier. So it's another advantage I've found moving forward into a inorganic bonsai mix. There seems to be a lot of pluses to the mix, not too many negatives. The only negative I've found, and I can't really attribute it to the inorganic mix yet, is I seem to be getting a bit of yellowing of foliage in some trees. So I reckon the fertilizer that I'm using the mix needs a bit of adjusting. The bag that I'm going to throw on this one, I've done the dynamic lifter, blood and bone, but I've also thrown a little bit of Osmocote slow release in there as well. It's a bit more of an all-round fertilizer. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. That will do to hold the tree in. Well, I reckon it should be up a little bit more. I wonder if we could prop that up with something. I think it needs to be propped up. We might just use a bit of timber like that, just hold him up. That should locate him in the pot a bit better. That actually looks pretty good, I think. Give him a nice little drink, get him on his way. Now we'll just give him a bit of a tidy up. I'll start at the top. I'll tidy this piece up, the apex sort of, or what is currently the apex. I'm still in two minds on whether I actually need this. I was going to extend it out and have another pad up high, but I don't know if the tree really needs it. I think this could comfortably be the apex, and it may not need that extra one. That's what I'm starting to think anyway. See if I've got any moss outside for this little fella. I'll be back. Alright, we managed to scrounge up a little bit. Not very nice moss, but that's all I've got, so. That looks bloody terrible, but hopefully with a bit of regular water, that'll green up and not look too bad. So then give it a month, probably take that bit of wood out, should set itself into that pot pretty quick. little bit of a spin of the tree. Weird little Melaleuca in its new pot. Like I said, these branches, they might be a little bit low. They're sort of on the same plane as the one at the back, so they look a bit funny. But I think they'll spring up a little bit when we unwire them. Which should put them in about the right position. I can always lift them up again later if I've screwed up and they stay low. I think it'll be alright without that extra branch, that one that I was going to develop. I think the tree's high enough. I don't know, what do you reckon? I think if we just continually develop these pads and fill the tree out a bit, I think that's probably not a bad looking little tree. And what do you reckon about the new pot? Suited alright? Or should I have gone with that one in the thumbnail? Bloody hope not. I didn't like that one at all. Anyway, that's it for the repot of the weird little Melaleuca. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.